Hello, gorgeous entrepreneur. It's Tash Corbin here, and welcome to another episode of the Heart Centered Business Podcast. This is episode number 165, and all the special links and show notes can be found over at tashcorbin.com/165. So, what we are doing today is we are going to talk about how I got my beautiful community, the Heart Centered Soul Driven Entrepreneurs Facebook group, to 30,000 members. It's one of the most common questions that I get asked when people, especially when they first come into the Tash Corbin world, and they're like, how did you get your group so big? So I'm going to share all of the juicy secrets with you. They're not really secrets in this episode. Let's get started. All right, so the first thing I want to clear up is that I have never ever spent money on Facebook ads to promote my Facebook group. So there's never been a time where I've boosted my group or paid extra for it to get into suggested groups or made ads directly to my group. All of the strategies that I'm going to be sharing with you and that I have used to grow this community are all completely organic strategies. And I think that the way that I've created and nurtured this community has a lot to do with its phenomenal growth. So for those of you who aren't familiar with my group, you can find it at tashcorbin.com/group, nice and easy. And it is a community for women entrepreneurs. And we have recently hit 30,000 members, which is just so amazing. And it makes my heart sing to see how connected and gorgeous and beautiful that community is. Now, we are so in love with each other that we even have a conference every year now. And the second Heart Centered Business Conference is happening in March 2019. You can find out about that over with the show notes. So it's tashcorbin.com/165. And we're getting together in March 2019 in Brisbane, Australia. And the first conference, we've got 100 people there. This time we're expecting 150 to 200 women to come along and join us for the 2-day conference. It's going to be super amazing. So this community is so different to other Facebook communities that I see online. It's hyper engaged. People post almost every day. We have 30,000 members, and on average 1,000 members post something at least once a week in the Facebook community. When people post things, other people comment. It is not a spam fest. It is not locked down so you can't talk about your business. It has this beautiful balance between being somewhere where you can promote your services and talk about your business, and you can get support and have a conversation and not feel like you're constantly being bombarded with sales pitches. It is such a beautiful community. It's highly connected. Brilliant business BFF relationships have come out of there. Masterminds have formed out of there. Joint ventures have formed out of there. People have launched in their businesses and courses into just that community and had $11,000, $30,000 launches. It has just been such an amazing community, and it's just got this amazing feel to it. And I talk about how amazing it is, and I get all lit up, and I know that I ramble, but it's because it is just so beautiful. So I want to share with you what I think are the 3 key things that have been responsible for this community having the environment that it does, and particularly focused on reach. So there are other things about the group that I think make it amazing. For example, there's a model of shared leadership. It's not about me, all that sort of thing. But I think these are the 3 reasons why it has grown so rapidly. It started in 2014, August 2014. And we've hit 30,000 members in just over 4 years. And so I want to share with you the 3 things that really relate to its growth. So first and foremost, I did not start this group for it to be the Tash Corbin Show. It's not about me. It's not about my business. I started the community because back in 2014 and 2013 and 14, I was in a couple of other Facebook communities, and they were for entrepreneurs and people in business. And I saw that when groups got to about 1,000 members, they would go one of 2 ways. Either the admins would just kind of give up on trying to stop people spamming it, and it would just become this giant marketplace. And the only posts in there were people promoting themselves, and all the conversation kind of disappeared. Or the admins would be so afraid of that they would lock it down, and you couldn't talk about your business. You couldn't share anything that you were doing. You couldn't promote anything into the groups, not even free stuff. You couldn't promote, like, or sometimes they'd make it like you could promote once a month. And so it was really like the reason for being there and like promoting and sharing and practicing your messaging. It wasn't, the opportunities really weren't there. And it was like, we're all like, then what it became was like everyone's still there, but the conversations are kind of stilted and we're all kind of pretending that we're not promoting our businesses, but we're trying to talk about our businesses at the same time. And it just felt like it was like, it became about that person promoting their business, the owner of the group, but everyone else kind of was just there for that person, to learn from that person. And that's what a Facebook page is for, right? Like, you don't join a Facebook group to learn from the person who's running the Facebook group and that's it. If I just wanted to get notified about your blogs and your freebies and your offers, like, that's why I follow your Facebook page. So what I was finding was that the groups that I was in, they just weren't the same anymore, and the conversations kind of dried up. And a couple of my clients said, you know, these groups just aren't the same as they used to be. There's no group where we can just have these free conversations and get that peer support from each other. And I said, well, I'm going to start one then. And so the Heart-Centered Soul-Driven Entrepreneurs group was born. And at that point in time, I did not have it as part of my business model. I wasn't creating the group to promote into it or to have a place for me to promo 7 days a week or anything. That's what my page was for. I created the group as a peer support network. I wanted to be able to support my clients, my peers, ask questions about like tricky MailChimp things. Canva had just come out. We were all sharing like this, look what you can do on Canva and all these sorts of things. And so for me, it was started not as the Tash Corbin show, but as a place for us to have a very specific conversation. We wanted a space where women could come together and talk about business and practice our messaging and promote our webinars and you know, have that space where I can say, help, I can't do this thing, or which, you know, help me pick what to help me name my thing. You know, it was a real business support network for women. So I think that the fact that it wasn't this I'm here and everyone else is here model, it was like a shared leadership model, and it was like we're all here because we all want to have this conversation, meant that it was a very engaged community from the start. And we got the first 300 to 400 members within a few weeks. Like it didn't take long for word to spread that this group was a really good space to be in. So that was part number one. The second thing that I think made my group have such great reach was that it had great structure. So from the very beginning, we had theme days using the hashtags, and that gave a prompt to start a conversation. Because the thing that I saw in Facebook groups where there weren't hashtags was that because we're business people, right, and our natural thing that we want to talk about is our thing, right? Our offer, our promo, that kind of thing. So in groups where there weren't hashtags, even if they had like one day was promo day, like Thursday's a promo day, every other day talk about whatever, but no promo, then people wouldn't post on the other days because they didn't know what to post. Or if they did post, it was like a thinly veiled promo anyway. Oh, I'm setting new goals for myself. Can't wait to see 200 women on my webinar about losing weight the easy way. It's like, you just want us to know that you have a webinar about losing weight the easy way, right? Like there was no conversation other than promo or thinly veiled promo in groups that didn't have hashtags. And so I started playing with different hashtags and theme days. And in particular, Selfie Saturday, has been there from the start, was such an interesting day because for a lot of the women in the community, like, I've never really posted selfies before, but I know I need to get over it, and this is a really great safe space for me to do this. And we started recognizing each other and getting to know each other, and I knew this person had this dog, and oh, that's that lady's kids, and da-da-da, and this lady's from the USA. And so we really got to know each other because the hashtag started the conversation. And I know a lot of people are like, oh, I don't want to stifle the conversation. I don't want to have hashtags. But actually, hashtags start conversations. They don't stifle them. When you leave it, I feel like when you leave it up to people to decide what to talk about, if it's a group for entrepreneurs, we will talk about our businesses, full stop. Whereas we used to have Self-Care Sunday, which was really cool, and like people talking about what they were doing outside of their business and all those sorts of things. It was so good to start stimulating those conversations. So for me, I think what the structure did was it stimulated conversation and it created a balance between promo and talking about your business and us supporting each other and getting to know each other and having fun and creating that office atmosphere that you don't get when you are working on your own as a solo entrepreneur. So it was like a really cool mix between fun and getting to know each other and then the business promo and talking about our businesses. And then I think the third reason why the group grew so quickly was we had this approach of lovingly welcoming people into the group. So I knew that a lot of people would join the group and behave in the community the way that they behaved in other groups, which is either spammy promo or thinly veiled promo, right? I knew that that was going to be something that people would try to do. And because it was being taught by so many big marketers out there. Jump into groups, create a yes ladder. I've discovered the 12 secrets to getting a huge following on Instagram. Do you want the secrets? Comment yes below and I'll hit you up with my free checklist, right? And so there were coaches out there teaching this strategy. Go into a group, create a yes ladder, get hundreds of comments, spam those people's inboxes with an opt-in link, and then you've just grown your group by 200 people in someone else's Facebook group. So there were coaches out there teaching these types of spammy strategies, and there were people out there also particularly, and nothing against network marketing and multi-level marketing, but there were some network marketing organizations that were teaching strategies that involved jumping into Facebook groups and spamming them, either sending private message spam to the members, or doing a random post. Like there always someone who came in and said on question day or help me any day or whatever, they'd say, what's the worst thing about being single? And then they'd get if they were helping people to get their manifest your dream man. And they'd get all these women commenting and saying, the worst thing about being single is this, and then they would private message them all and say, oh, it sucks, doesn't it? Here, this is my specialty. I'll help you find your dream partner. And it was so transparent and it was so spammy. And so for me, I wanted to make sure that the community felt safe, that people didn't feel like they were constantly being bombarded with marketing, and that we had some very clear guidelines. That also meant that I couldn't monitor and administrate that on my own. So I needed to create a sense of we are all protecting this community. So especially in the first few, I would say 2 years of the community, I would do a video or a post, or then when Facebook Lives came in, a Facebook Live almost every month into the group, talking about how it was so wonderful that everyone was taking shared responsibility for keeping this space, the space that we want it to be. And if we think we're special and we can break the rules, then everyone is going to break the rules. So that's why we have the guidelines in place. It means that we have this beautiful safe space, but you can promote your business in alignment with the guidelines, and they're very generous guidelines. I don't just have here's your promo thread for the week, and then there's 40,000 promo comments and no one ever actually reads each other's promos. I had created this give and take mentality, right? So yes, I've made it very easy for you to promote things into this community, free and paid, and we encourage you and we're going to support you to promo and practice your messaging. But in order to have that, we need to make sure that the group is consistently full of other conversations as well, and that we're all lovingly educating each other about the guidelines and how to behave in the group. Because the other thing that I found was after about a year, the people who'd been in the group the longest would either feel like, well, I'm special, so I get to be sneaky, and I'm going to do sneaky promo, sneaky this, and they were even making up hashtag sneaky promo, and feeling like they got special treatment because they'd been here the longest. Or they would see other people breaking the rules and they would be quite aggressive and quite judgmental to people about like, you're spamming, you're such a spammer. And like people were like putting hashtag spammy on their posts. And I needed to shut that down as well because I didn't want people coming into the community and feeling like they were getting in trouble all the time. I wanted them to feel loved and welcomed. And so I was very consistent, and I still, even now, every couple of months, I'll still do a little Facebook Live and start a conversation, do some posts to remind people that when we welcome people into the community, if they're not following the guidelines, our approach is that of loving education. And the guidelines are nice and clear. We've got some really cool theme days and some explanation of the theme days. And we're all about lovingly educating people on how to make the most of the group and, comply with the guidelines and just have great Facebook group etiquette. So I find that those three things, the fact that it's not the Tash Corbin show, it's the everybody show, and it's a great conversation for all of us. We all get value out of the community. The fact that it's got great structure and creates that balance between promo and conversation, and the fact that we have this loving guidelines and loving education, all add up to mean that the community is hyper engaged. So it's not just everyone's posting in it, but people comment on people's posts. There was, people even now get shocked. They'll ask a question in the group, or they'll promote a freebie in the group, and they'll get 150 comments within an hour, and they're like, oh, that was so overwhelming. I can't believe how supportive this group is and how open this group is and how amazing it is. Because they're used to going into other groups and popping a little promo in and getting crickets because those groups aren't engaged the way that this group is. And so all of those pieces add up to create this amazing engagement. And what that does is tells the Facebook algorithm, this is a really great group. And what Facebook wants is for people to stay on Facebook. And people have told me over and over again, they get sucked into scrolling the feed and having conversations in the heart-centered group. And sometimes it can be a little bit overwhelming because it takes over their day. But Facebook wants that, right? Facebook wants people to be active on Facebook, having conversations and engaging with each other and having an amazing time. And that's what this group creates, particularly for women entrepreneurs. And so what I find is that the heart-centered community is in suggested groups for people way more than other Facebook communities, particularly for women in business. And we get about 100 membership requests every single day now. And as I said, none of that is through promotions or ads or anything like that. I do, in my freebies and on my page, talk about my Facebook community, but I can't keep up the growth of my business with the growth of my group. My Facebook page at the moment has about 5,000 people following it, and my page is 5,000, my group is 30,000. The group is just going great guns. And then as part of my business strategy, I do promote freebies into the group, and then the right people, because 80% of the people in the group aren't my ideal client, right? It's not the Tash show. I'm not just filling it with my ideal client. I'm filling it with women entrepreneurs who want to have a conversation with each other about business. And some of them are my ideal client and some of them are not. And that is totally okay. I didn't create this group for it to be this direct line to return on investment and it must be my ideal clients and da-da-da. It's not the Tash show. And I think that's the key difference. So that group now is a suggested group for so many people. We get flooded with membership requests every single day. It's growing super fast. And that has all happened organically. And it happened from the very start. I did very little promotions of my group into other groups. I first of all and foremost think it's a bit rude. It's like going to someone's party and saying, hey, I've got a party too. Do you want to come to my party? So I don't go out and promote my group into other people's groups. I promote it through my Facebook page, but most of the growth of that community has been organic, and I think it comes down to those 3 key factors creating amazing engagement within the group. So I thought I'd give you a couple little bonus tips as well, because I think there are some things when it comes to creating a Facebook group that, you know, they're little unspoken conversations, but I think that they're, you know, a part of how I do business, and therefore they've also been responsible for creating that amazing community feel in the community. And so number 1 is I followed my own rules. So I know a lot of people who start Facebook groups and they set it like there's only 1 day a week that you can promote, and then they promote 3 times a day in that group. They're making it about themselves, and I follow my own rules. It's very rare that I would go in and promote my business outside of the theme days. And I will sometimes do a little Facebook Live if there's a webinar happening, or I will do a extra little promo here and there. But honestly, I'm not in that group 3 times a day promoting myself. I'm there in that group 3 times a day, commenting on people's things and answering their questions and being part of that community. It's there for me as a support network as much as it is for the members. So if you are in that, you know, early stages in particular of a Facebook community, or you're finding that you're really struggling to build up that engagement, like, remember, even when Facebook first started, there was no monetization of Facebook initially. It was too cool to monetize initially, according to the Social Network movie. And it was a very good decision not to turn it into an advertising space until it had that beautiful momentum. So if you are going to create your own Facebook group, or if you you're thinking your Facebook group isn't getting the connection and the conversation that you want, have a look and see, are you actually following your own rules, or are you breaking them consistently to promote yourself? That may be creating a bit of disconnect between you and the members, and maybe it's time to just take a step back and look at this as a long-term strategy. And then the second thing I wanted to share was there are some really cool things that you can do to really boost engagement, such as playing games and having special opportunities for people to promote themselves. I used to do a little Lady Posse spotlight where I would interview people, and it was like a 5-minute video so that other people could get to know each other in the community. I would promote other people's businesses, and then they would be more engaged. We did things like when we hit 28,000 members, we did a hashtag 28K party, and I said where people could have an extra opportunity over a weekend to make a promotion, but it had to be something that was $28, $280, or $2,800, and they could do promos and Facebook Lives. We've done swapsy parties where you can like give something and take something. Like, all of those things create engagement, and they create excitement and energy within the group, and all of those things therefore are going to improve the algorithm for that community as well. So hopefully that's been helpful for you if you're interested in creating your own Facebook community or growing the one that you have. And if you haven't joined the Heart-Centered Soul-Driven Entrepreneurs community yet, I would really encourage you to do so. It is ladies only, and we do subscribe to the open interpretation of women, WOMYN. So anyone who identifies as female is welcome to join in, non-binary, transgender, but it is ladies. So it's anyone who mostly identifies as female. And I would love for you to come and join us. It's tashcorbin.com/group is the group for you to come and join us. And when you join, you're encouraged to hashtag intro, do a little intro, let us know about your business. We love getting to know people. Bonus points if you share your face, because people recognize faces. Zebras recognize stripes. So you want to get your face into the group as much as possible and see just how committed and supported and engaged this community is. It really is absolutely beautiful. I've often said, even if my business got outlawed tomorrow, I'd still run my group. Even if I won $400 million, I'd still run my business, I'd still run my group, because it really does light up my day, and it's a beautiful part of my business model now. Thank you so much for joining me for this special episode of the Heart-Centered Business Podcast. Until next time, gorgeous lady, I cannot wait to see you shine. And it's a big love, big hugs, and bye for now from me. See you.